when you hear that theme song, you know it's Cinema Chatter o'clock. Deepest apologies to you, dear listeners, for the late start of today's show. We experienced some technical issues and we're back now. Good evening, listeners, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Cinema Chatter with FK. And of course, I'm your host, Folakemi Akinlabi, on a cinematic adventure where we get to share our thoughts and feelings on flicks. And by flicks, I'm talking about movies. So get on your seats, grab your popcorns, and let's roll. Lights, camera, action. You know when Rema said another banger, yes, another banger dropped on Friday last week, October 13, on Netflix. And that is what we will be discussing on the show today. Have you figured it out yet? Have you taken the guess? So welcome back, guys. Let's talk about the movie Ijogbon. You see, when I saw the trailer of this movie, I just knew something Gengen was about to go down. Because what do you mean Ijogbon? That means you're gonna give me chaos, you're gonna give me trouble, you're gonna give me confusion, and all of its siblings. And I am ready, and they did deliver that. I was also excited because it happens to be one of the best filmmakers in Nigeria. When you just have to put some respect on this man's name because when you're talking about the likes of Bonali Austin Peters, Kemi Adetiba, Tunde Kelani, Niyaki Molayon, Biodun, and Stephen, you just know this man has to be somewhere in the middle. I am talking about no other person than Kunle Afolayan. Kunle Afolayan directed the movie, he produced it, he also did the casting, but he is not the writer of the movie. So then who is the writer of the movie? It is no other person than Tunde Babalola. So we're going to review the movie in terms of plot, characterization, and of course cinematography. But first, let's take a quick synopsis of the movie Ijogbon. Ijogbon is a Nigerian movie that focuses on the adventures of four teenagers from a rural village in southwest Nigeria, Oyo State, who stumbled upon a pouch of dazzling uncut diamonds in the strangest of ways and decide to keep them. Soon, however, the owners of the diamonds come looking for them, and the four teens find themselves in deep trouble, having to deal with the consequences of their actions. Ijogbon was released to Netflix on Friday, October 13, 2023, and is currently, are you ready for that? And is currently number one on the movie charts in Nigeria on Netflix. So let us now see what some individuals have to say on social media about the movie Ijogbon. Okay, so Busaya Cole on Twitter says, I'm sorry, but this Ijogbon movie is a cringe fest. This is Kunle Afolayan's first miss. Madam Busaya, can you please calm down? Tife also says, very poor acting from the kids in Ijogbon movie. Get it. This tweet from Dina Omodolapo says, Ijogbon did not Jogbon at all. 2/10. And Dolapo, can you please calm down? So we have this tweet from Akinola Jr. He says, whenever and wherever I find the writer of Ijogbon movie, Tunde Babalola, I will fight him like a goat with mood swings. After all that wahala, what do you mean she threw the diamonds into the sea? We'll get there. Another one, okay, this one is a positive one from Adekunle Light. It says the way Uncle Kunle tied the friendship between Jamil, Ronti, and Obi and Omoba together, different homes and religious backgrounds, sent a subtle message of peaceful coexistence that young folks exhibit. This one from Yemi Akonde says Gabriel Afolayan was just having fun in Ijogbon. Oduduwa will be proud with that accent. Man is an actor. I think so too. This one from Wale Supre says the Ijogbon movie is a good and proper storytelling as well as great casting. My favorite part about it was the infusion of theater stage play in it. You could feel it in some scenes. Felt like I was reading a playwright. Shout out to Ogakunle and the team. This last one from Simi So Fine So Fly. Simi Sonya says the ending of that Ijogbon movie just made me so angry. So after all the stress, she does that. My head became hot immediately. I won't lie to you, my own head was on fire. Alright, so we shall now review the movie based on plot, characterization, and cinematography. For the plot, I'd say the plot of the movie was well developed because, first of all, it focused on the inquisitive nature of kids how kids can get, because these children they were going to spread their clothes. So it's clothes they wash. So it's clothes they want to go and spread. Before they saw car tracks and decided to follow the tracks that led them to the diamonds, of which they exchanged some of it at Chief Owonifari's shop, that is Yemi Sholade, and got themselves luxurious items. So that where their wahala actually began was when Omoba, the one portrayed as the youngest and the most carefree, decided to, because in a bid to like attract the girls in his village, he decided to wanted to be the local champion, wanted to attract girls. And I decided to go and flaunt his phone, his iPhone 13, and landed all of them in hot mess. So I also like the parts where the team was able to focus on greed and corruption and the consequences of youthful recklessness. The movie brilliantly delves into the power of poor decisions. We see how the kids, how they had this brouhaha going on between them, the argument going on between Jamil and Ronsi, the fights. We see how it can happen. It can happen between individuals. We also see how the movie delves into the Japa syndrome. We see how Jamil, depicted as the oldest in the play, wanted to look for greener pastures. We also see how they incorporated this into the story of the teacher at the principal school, that's Jamil's father's school. How she also wanted to go find greener pastures. So it portrays this situation where the young ones want to leave and the old ones want to stay behind because Jamil's father was not going to leave the village. So plot has to do with the sequential arrangement of events. So I think the movie actually did that. The movie further explains the theme of greed. We see how the Chief Owonifari got greedy. I mean, you already duped these kids of their money already. You already collected the gold and sold it at a very low value to them. You still wanted more. You still went after them. How bad, Chief? Chief, such is not life. We also see how Brother Kasali got greedy. Because he could have just gone to steal diamonds that he was instructed to steal by Chief Owonifari. Why did you have to take the personal belongings of the kids too? And that was what actually landed him in a hot mess, because he stole Jamil's phone, and that was how the kids were able to find out that he was the one that stole the diamonds. He also got greedy by stealing Chief's wife. Hey, the audacity! You carry a whole Chief Owonifari's girlfriend, and you think you can be sleeping well at night. How is it possible, dear? So we see how the movie delved into that theme of greed. One thing the plot did that I really liked was linking the old folk story told by the old man in the beginning with what later played out between the kids. We see the story of Oromio and how he and his brothers got into this little fight and then were bent on killing each other, and how that also played out between Jamil and Ronsi. So I like how they were able to incorporate that into the storytelling. Another likable thing about the movie was what I read in one of the comments, the way Kunle Afolayan incorporated different languages. There were about 6 languages used in that movie, representing different tribes of the country. That is laudable. Ijogbon boasts of fascinating cinematographic allure. What do we mean? The setting of ancient times can be seen here that had rich cultural values, rich dressing, rich language, rich music. Kunle Afolayan knows how to make vintage movies seem appealing. No, the man is really good. We also see the use of sophisticated cameras, the capturing the high mountains and the rest, giving us this very genge scenery. The quality of the video is also very top notch and crisp. The use of SFX and VFX, I'm talking about sound effects and visual effects. The camera angles, everything was just fantastic, very fantastic production that we see there with beautiful scenery. And then the use of songs that went down there. I mean, everything just tallied with what was actually going on in the movie. Characterization. The characterization of the movie was good to a very large extent. We see the 14s: Ruby, Akubueze, Kayode Ojolape, Oluwaseyi Ebiesua, Fawaz that's Ikorodu Boys, Yemi Sholade, Gabriel Afolayan, Yemi Shodimu, Sam Dede. It was an endless list of brilliant actors with stellar performances. And personally, I was wowed by Yemi Sholade's performance because I always see him as the good guy in movies. So seeing him wear that bad guy character was something with the actions and body language and speech and expression. Everything was just giving. I'm like, Uncle Yemi, is this you? Another person that really amazes me, or honestly, this person does not even flop normal because he doesn't wear flip flops. I'm talking about Gabriel Afolayan. He ate up his role. That man comes through any day, anytime. Any role I thought that he give him, he always delivers. Prisoner, oh, madman, oh, rich man, oh, student, oh, local champion, oh, even robber, he will deliver. On along talking about the plots, the characterization, the cinematography. Now is the time for us to look at the flaws of the movie, or what they where they actually fell off, where they missed it all out. The first thing I'd want to mention is the casting. I feel like the casting wasn't bad, but I also feel like some things could have been done to make it better. For instance, casting Sam Dede as a Yoruba speaking pastor. This one is not even a native speaker of Yoruba. I saw Sam Dede struggling to speak Yoruba. Like, how could you do that to a very big actor like Sam Dede? Like, you could not even quote a proper Yoruba verse because he's not a native speaker of it. Although he tried, he gave it his all, he did his best. But then, when they say Kolidabi, you get Kodabi. That was like a miss. Another thing that I felt they should have done, another flaw I felt where they missed it all out was where they had unnecessary and disjointed scenes. Unnecessary scene. I actually went through social media. I saw a lot of people actually liked it, but me, no, I don't like it. The scene where they were in the bush, where the parents were looking for their children, why was that the time that they chose to be gisting inside bush? Like, you guys literally just saw dead bodies, and the next thing for you to do is to be showing us your grammatical prowess. I'm talking about Yemisho Dimu now, and then Obi's mom is just standing somewhere, just looking at them. That's not the way an African mother would behave. If it were a Shola Shobowale or a Tinamba, let's say, okay, because of the Igbo casting, the action, they'll probably even have to send the woman back home that no, you should not be here. You are scattering this our mission. Do you understand? So I feel like that scene was unnecessary, and the woman was not even panicking. Safe, she was all calm. You cannot find your child and you just saw dead bodies in the bush. You should really, really panic. You get it. Another thing that I feel was unnecessary was the okay. Let me not even say unnecessary, but let's look at it this way. The what's it called? The Chinese man Ming O. How is it that he's the only one that had a bulletproof vest? And you guys are trying to portray these people as Adnia they came all the way from wherever it is she came from, only to come and die in an unknown land. Upon the old money that she had, did you see the exotic vehicle she brought to the place? Which means she's not a nobody. She has money. So she just came to come and die like chicken in another man's land, and then Femi Branch and the rest. I don't like the way they just made everything seem. So it was only Ming Ho that had bulletproof vest. It can't talk in a Chinese juju. Hey, let's be very guided. Please do. And the first lesson is that greed is like a bottomless pit. Insatiable greed leaves us unsatisfied and empty, as if we are in a bottomless pit with no fulfillment. We see this in the case of Rakasali and Chief Owonifari, and also in the case of the kids. But Rakasali and Chief Owonifari especially. Me, I still don't understand how a man as rich as Chief Owonifari will still want to be chasing after kids. I know it's diamonds, but that be respecting yourself small. So the second lesson there is parents are like compasses showing their children the right path in life. As in the case of the children, if they had sought their parents' help for guidance or whatever, I felt like they probably would not have lost the diamonds. But at no point in their life do they have advice they take or have advice from anyone superior in age, not even their parents. Despite all their struggles, they ended up having nothing. So the third lesson here is that what seems like a blessing can turn into a burden. Good things can become curses. We see this in the case of the diamonds found by the kids. Yes, diamonds are good, but did they turn out good for the kids? No. They got expensive materials at first, but then the thing said choked them at the end of the day. It ended up being a trouble for them because the trouble that came with it was quite alarming and they could not manage it well. They often had fights amongst themselves. I'm talking about Jamiu and Ronti especially, and that was what made Obi do what she eventually did. For those of you that have not seen the movie, please see the movie to know what Obi actually did in the movie. And that will be all on Ijogbon movie by Kunle Afolayan, now streaming on Netflix.